Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our showing of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 2002, the fifth film in our Fantastic Foodie Films series, directed by Joel Zwick, with Nia Vardalos and John Corbett. Nia Vardalos adopted the screenplay from her 1994 one-woman stage show of the same name, which reflected her experiences as a member of a tight-knit Greek family who marries a non-Greek man. The film was an unexpectedly great success, and Vardalos was nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, although the movie never reached #1 at the box office. My Big Fat Greek Wedding became the highest-grossing romantic comedy of all time from its word-of-mouth reputation, earning over $368 million on an investment of only $5 million. It was so popular that it spawned a TV series in 2013, My Big Fat Greek Life, which ran for only 7 episodes, and a film sequel, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, which was not nearly as successful as the original. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 76% rating and said that it was good-hearted, lovable, and delightfully eccentric, with a sharp script and lead performance from Nia Vardalos. In the summer of 1997, Vardalos' one-woman show had a sold-out 6-week run at the Hudson Backstage Theater in Los Angeles, and it was there that Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, who is of Greek descent, saw it, loved it, and subsequently persuaded her husband to see it himself. The show's popularity was enhanced by the fact that Vardalos shrewdly marketed it to all the local Greek Orthodox churches. She had been shopping her potential screenplay around to various production companies, but was meeting with some resistance. Some producers wanted to change the ethnicity of the family to Hispanic. Some wanted a better-known actress in the principal role, such as Marissa Tomei. But Vardalos would not consent to these proposals. What Vardalos wanted most was to play Tula herself. After some discussion, Wilson and Hanks agreed to pursue the project and committed to produce the film in accordance with her vision, including having Vardalos star in the production herself in order to preserve the authenticity of the story, which was Nia's own story. Preparations began, and though the story was set in the Greek community of Winnipeg, where Vardalos grew up, arrangements were made to scout locations in Chicago and Toronto, Canada, where most of the film would eventually be shot. It was during this period in Toronto that John Corbett, who was there shooting another movie, read the script and indicated his interest in playing the part of the WASP boyfriend. The producers promptly offered him the role on the spot, and they were all in business. Some of the locations they selected, including buildings on the campus of Toronto's Ryerson University, the Jarvis Collegiate Institute, the Greektown neighborhood, and 2 houses in the East York suburb of Toronto. They were used as stand-ins for Tula's family home and the house next door, which her father gave to her and Ian as a wedding present. Plot summary. Tula Portolakos is a 30-year-old Greek woman who works in her family's restaurant, Dancing Zorbas. Her father's only wish for her is to marry a nice Greek guy and have lots of nice Greek babies. But Tula has higher aspirations. She enlists her mother to persuade her father to allow her to take some college computer courses so she can help her aunt in the family's travel agency. Soon she's good enough to take over the business. One day, she meets Ian Miller, a high school English teacher of WASP background, and falls head over heels in love with him. They begin dating secretly in an effort to keep her father from finding out. Inevitably, he does find out and is absolutely furious, but learns that he must accept this would-be son-in-law. Ian and Tula also have a lesson to learn. Ian needs to accept Tula's family, and Tula needs to accept her heritage. Fun facts about the film. All the letters E in the titles are replaced with the Greek letter sigma, so that word Greek, for example, is spelled G-R sigma sigma K, To a Greek speaker, this spells grsk. Although Tula is 30 years old in the story, Vardalos was 40 when she played the part. When Tom Hanks called Vardalos for the first time to discuss producing the film, she said she hung up on him because she thought the call was a prank. When Aunt Vula learns that Ian is a vegetarian, she looks momentarily confused and says, "That's okay, I make lamb." This reflects the confusion that many Greeks feel about vegetarianism because they suffered so much food insecurity during World War II and had to submit to whatever was available. Ian Gomez, Vardalos' husband at the time of filming, played the role of Ian Miller's best friend, Mike. The scene where Vula grabs Ian's hair was ad-libbed because she forgot her lines. John Corbett remained in the character, and the results were so natural that Vardalos decided to keep the clip in the film. All the people on the bride's side in the church were relatives of Nia Vardalos. The opening scene in which Tula and her father travel in the early morning to open the restaurant was one of the last scenes filmed. All the other cast members had completed their scenes and left, so the sadness on their faces was actually genuine. The producers did not have to pay for catering while they were on location because nearby Greek restaurants got wind of the filming and sent over mounds of free Greek food. At the wedding reception, no one was doing the dance correctly because the cast was so exhausted. While working in the travel agency, Tula makes a reservation for Doreen Christakos. This is the name of Nia Vardalos' mother. When Ian is baptized into the Greek Orthodox faith, he's given the name Ioannis, which is Greek for John, and this is Corbett's first name. The song playing at the wedding reception is All My Only Dreams. It first appeared in a film called That Thing You Do, 1996, which was directed and produced by Tom Hanks, who directed this film. When Tula walks to the front door in her blue nightgown, a statue of Eros, the Greek god of love, can be seen in the background. Ryerson University's Carr Hall was used to represent the high school where Ian teaches, and its Rogers Communication Building stood in for Harry S. Truman College. The exterior church shots are of Toronto's Holy Trinity Russian Orthodox Church, and the interior ones are of St. Nicholas, Ukrainian Catholic Church. Although John Corbett plays a wasp, he is actually half Irish and half Ashkenazi Jewish. In the restaurant scene of Tula's and Ian's first date, 2 jars can be seen on a shelf, one containing oranges and the other apples. This is a subtle reference to their last names, which her father references later in his speech at the wedding. Things to look for. Tula's family home in East York with its proud display of gaudy Greek statuary out front. The statue of Eros behind her when she comes to the door in her blue nightgown. The scene where the family roasts a whole lamb in the front yard. Ian's family getting drunk on too much ouzo. The awful bridesmaid dresses. Yaya's lovely bridal crowns. Tula making the reservation for Doreen Christakos. All that delicious-looking spanakopita they're serving. Vula grabbing at Ian's hair and her confusion over his vegetarianism. The use of the Greek letter sigma to replace the English letter E wherever it appears in the titles. The song All My Only Dreams playing at the wedding reception. The lovely church interiors and exteriors, and the 2 jars containing the apples and oranges on the shelf behind Tula and Ian as they enjoyed dinner on their first date. Now it's time for us to view my big fat Greek wedding, settle in, nibble on a spanakopita, and wait a few minutes for the film to run. Oppa! Enjoy.